This is the Bonus Section Podcast, episode number 73. Stop assuming that everybody else is taking action. Are you the type of person that knows you were meant for something greater in this lifetime? And that somewhere inside of you, there's just this bigger version of yourself trying to break through, but in spite of all your self-development attempts, you just can't seem to find a way up there? Well, then, hey, you are definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Bonus Section and the host of this podcast, and a person just like you, trying to learn how to live the most self-fulfilling life possible. And to help you take immediate action to do so, we take all the notes from each episode and post them at freethinkingtools.com. So you can get over there anytime you want. We just put a couple episodes up there, the most recent ones. It's just really an outline of notes that we take so you can sit down and think. Just do some time thinking. Slow your life down. Stop running your routine. Go to a quiet place, your happy place, wherever you can sit. Get a pen, get a pad, and think onto it. Make some notes. Think about what's going on in your head. Get it out of there, because some of the best stuff gets steamrolled by having to live life, and we never really start moving in that direction of better until we start actively trying to work on our goals. All right. Stop assuming everyone else is taking action. This is a very powerful theme for me. And again, I know I defer to my kids a lot because I'm dadager, as I'm called by my Hollywood actress, and, coach by all my clients. I spend a lot of time with my coaching clients and my kids, and this exposes me to these truths. And then, of course, on my own, I never stop trying to self-improve. When I go to the gym to try to physically self-improve, I'm listening to all sorts of people talk about head stuff, as I like to call it, or self-development, and just expose myself to new ideas to think. So I'm always trying to provoke thought and really disrupt or disturb the way I think about things, because it's very easy to get sucked into the law of corroboration and only look for supporting evidence to corroborate what you're believing. And this is one of the big ones. We, for some reason, think that everybody else is taking action. That's the first point here. You, me, we have no evidence that you're competing with the majority. Think about what that means. Right? When we look at schools, colleges, a big subject in my house right now, because I have 18-year-old twins that applied to college. One's going to do a postgraduate year and just got into a fantastic postgraduate high school that I don't know that he thought he could have. And so that's one example. The other one is trying to take a bite at some of the most well-known institutions in the world. And we're waiting for all of those results to come back in, and one's already made an offer that if he takes a year off, he's in. So, man, this is like big stuff. But if I took you back and rewound the clock to where I'm recording this, to where some of the action steps took, where I helped them stop believing this, that the majority was going to smoke them and they had no chance to compete, it's only like 60 days ago. Let that sink in. Maybe a little bit longer at this point. 75 days ago? 75 days ago, I had two twin boys, 18 years old, that were paralyzed into taking action. And they're both very good at certain things that they do. And they were great packages to offer someone. They've been working for years on certain parts of their craft. And obviously, too, I'm a huge believer. You are who you were born to be. So we've encouraged, hey, what is the one thing that you'd love to do the rest of your life? Do that thing. Now, of course, over time, some of that changes, especially for my hockey player, the athlete. He's morphing into what his sister became, which is an actor. And so great, that's wonderful. There's a shift there. But they both sat there paralyzed, not taking action steps. And a lot of this is the danger of this distracted digital world that everybody's living into. I have to tell you, I'm not going to knock Instagram, but man, can you get caught up in that and TikTok and drift off into hours worth of procrastination and then come back to take a real action step to move you in the direction of what you really want, which is not to be a professional video watcher on one of these social media platforms. It's to do that thing that you're dreaming of becoming, whatever it might be. The next private equity company owner, the next great successful actor, whatever it might be. But you think that the majority is doing this, and so here you were lazy or getting addicted to something that was wrong, and you come back and you put in this weak effort. Oh, I can't do that. Everybody else is doing it. Come on. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know what the majority is doing? Because you can see the number of daily users. Those numbers are always transparently out there for Wall Street trying to make a bet on these companies. You know the number of daily users. So you know what the majority is doing, procrastinating online. That's what's happening. The majority. The minority are making money online because they know where that herd is. And they're going out there and they're making that money by bringing that herd in and selling online. I know it. Because I have another daughter who works for a division of a major media company in New York, New Jersey, and that's what they do. They do product reviews and they put it out on social and they make tens of millions of dollars selling online. So I know how the world works. I know how the industrialists work, how they suck you in to be just a procrastinator player on their platforms so they can sell you something so that you can sit there and then come back to try to become something significant and tell yourself, oh, I could never do that. There's too many people that are already doing that. Okay. So how do you get beyond this? Let's just get beyond it. You take the simplest action step that's immediately available. Now, I'm envious of all of you that are younger than me and my kids' age. I'm envious. You know why? Because when I was curious and young, it was really difficult to get answers. There was no easy access to the internet. I'm not saying that there wasn't an internet, but there was no easy access. We really hadn't proliferated the laptop. My gosh, I can remember when I moved into college, and it's been quite some years. When I moved into college, there was no such thing as a computer, really. I mean, IBM was really just beginning to proliferate with the personal computer. I remember leaving Worcester, Massachusetts and driving with my roommate, whose folks had offered to buy a computer for technically both of us. So we drove down to Cambridge. We bought this thing, this tiny little shop. Forget about the Apple mega stores that there are today. We bought it, and we bought a printer that you had to line up the paper in holes. And so we had this thing, but it was really just a glorified typewriter. That's what it was. I mean, there wasn't much unless you were a supercomputer nerd back then and you knew how to program or write DOS or whatever you did back then. There was no Google search bar. Nothing. And now not only is there a Google search bar or, the competitors, but I'm a Google guy by nature just because they've got me there and I've got it on my phone. And I can tell you, and my kids will vouch for this, I will drive you batty when I tell you, why didn't you take the simplest action step to just look online? See, that's the weird thing about digital. It's just a simple choice what we use it for. I mean, do you have a Google app on your phone so that you can open it up and just search things that matter to your self-development, things that matter to your goal achievement? Do you do that? And then do you learn how to be a good sifter and sorter to say, okay, that's all noise, these stupid ads with this clickbait title, let me get rid of that. Oh, here's somebody maybe about 6 or 7 deep. Here's an indexed article that's been around since, it's been around. This looks like maybe it's good advice. Google likes it. People keep coming back to it. Let me read that. Oh, it tells me the story of a person who's already done what I did. Let me go and look at their Wikipedia if they have one. Let me go look at what they did when they were young. You see what I mean? That's a simple action step. And you can do it prone, lying down on your bed or your couch while you're being lazy, but your brain is not being lazy because you're taking these simple steps. So let me go back to the story about the schools. My boys had this specific set of skills. So we start Googling what schools offer those programs. What are the top schools for example, drama? What are the best ones? We knew it because we have an actress in the family who went to one of them, Emerson in Boston. But we knew about that, and it wasn't a good fit for this guy because he's also a great hockey player. Are there schools that have both of these things? So we Googled that. What drama program? We know what college has a great drama program and a great hockey program, right? That's what we looked, and we had a short list within minutes. The other guy became a great coxswain on the crew team, right? And he's got a crazy high GPA. So what Ivy League schools could we talk to? And who are the coaches of those programs? And back in the summer, we had already reached out to all of them and we got visits. He wasn't even on the radar. You would assume, they're recruiting from all over the world. Yes, they are, but they only have limited time. So what happens when you reach out and you have the goods and they like you? Well, you get an offer. That's what happens, right? So That's the point. It all starts with the simplest action steps. Don't get caught up in all of the anxiety of what it will take to become this great thing, or to get into this great place, or to join this great company, or to start a company of your own. Don't get caught up in all that. Because I'm going to guarantee you that the minority of the successful people, they finally got humble enough to take these simple action steps, and then they sucked it up. And I'll tell you about my actress in a second, right? Okay. So they sucked it up and suffered. So let me go back to my actress. So she is an actress all her life at the local high school. She goes in a couple of times. She want to quit. Oh, this is so hard. I want to quit. No, you're not. No, you're not quitting. So that's what happens when you have a dadager like me, right? I'm going to push you into this, and you're not going to get out of your lane, because my challenge to you is, if you're going to leave this lane, just tell me what lane you're going to get into, and then I support it. And that's what the hockey player's doing, right? He's beginning to see that hockey's the race to zero. He's not going to be an NHL player, so nor does he want to be. So hockey's a means to an end. But you're not going to quit on that. We're going to get the other ones started simultaneously. So he's off to New York for this intense training this summer, and he's off to a postgraduate high school year where he can play hockey at the highest level. He can begin to learn drama. He can improve his writing skills, his reading skills. See what I mean? Like, it's just, this all started with this online simple inquiry and these conversations. And the coach saw him, loved him. They invited him for an interview, and boom, you're into one of the top boarding schools in the country. Stunning how this happens. I'm excited. I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, hopefully you hear this. And even if you don't have a dadager like me, even if you feel like you're on your own, there's nothing stopping you. And I know you have a phone. And if you don't, go to the public library and sit there with the little white box, your yellow pad, and take notes on how to get started, and begin to email people. And be relentless at emailing multiple people until something happens. And that's the third point here. That once you begin, there are good people out there that when you write something saying, asking for help, you say, I am really, truly interested in this, and it seems like you're an expert at it. I would love some advice. I would love to visit your school. I'd love to jump on a Zoom, right? And then you send that out there to 5 or 6 people. And maybe you have a first choice. One of them is, I really want to work for this company, or I really hope I get signed by this agency, or whatever the case is, and they don't respond. We'll send it a couple more times, but that door typically closes for a reason. And then all of a sudden, one you didn't expect opens up, and you're like, holy crap, I didn't even consider that place, and look at how good their program is. Now you're going deeper, right? So this little simple action step led to email conversation, but you must, I'm going to emphasize this, guys and gals drive me crazy when you don't sit on your inbox, okay? Email is a phenomenal tool as well. So we have the search box, and then we have the email communication that must be fast and clear. So I try to teach the boys, like, you made these inquiries, and I went into your email box because he gave me access to be dadager. And so I look at, he's like signed up for list after list after list. Every marketing fool that could suck this fool in, his inbox is jammed. I spent a whole month just unsubscribing, so that as the stuff came in, and teaching them, you got to be in this thing every day. You don't go make these inquiries at these top drama schools or ask these coaches for help, and you're not right there and respond. And then you go back, you respond to them, they respond to you, and you don't bring it to the next step. That's not good. So all this fast and clear communication is the second tier. Once you make those inquiries, you reach out with a well thought out, sane comment. Don't ask for help, right? Don't take from them. And be fast and clear. Jordan Peterson just really struck me recently with something that he was saying about weaponizing your communication. And I want to add that in here. Being able to articulate yourself via email, a written letter even, I know it sounds like the Stone Ages, right? A well-written text, the spoken word. When you're on Zoom, you have to continue to beat on your ability to articulate your thoughts clearly and simply. And the way that you do that is practice. And the way that you do that is also Googling, how do I learn how to write better? How to speak better? And then that leads you to classes that you can take, or courses that you could buy, or books that you could read. So you see how this goes? The self-development thing, folks, isn't really rocket science. It's the ability to define the goal, reach out to the people who could help you, see what they give you for resources or what they tell you to do. Where would you go if you wanted to get into your school? What would you learn how to do? Well, I would read this book. I would take that class. Hey, one of them at Tisch Drama in New York told my son, what a fabulous choice for the summer. That's a great choice. And yes, that school you're going to is a great school. And here's what I would recommend. And don't worry about not having experience. That was enlightening too. We just want to know where you're at, and we want to take you on the journey. See what I mean? What you learn through fast and clear communication is stunning. Now, here's the bonus section of the bonus section podcast today, right? You don't need everybody to say yes, just the right one for you. You see, what happens is we start off with a dream and a perception that we want to go to a certain place or we want to be a certain person. And that's a great thing to start to move towards. So you start to find these people and you send an email and nobody responds. And you send another one, nobody responds. And that happened to my son who was looking at a postgraduate high school year. There were several places. One place, the coach couldn't get it straight. He talked to him once, then he forgot him. Then he remembered him. Then he forgot him. Then he remembered him. Then another guy just didn't even respond, didn't even take the courtesy to respond to an 8-year-old guy who's trying to find his way, right? So needless to say, both of those doors didn't open up. But the two where the coaches and the place was interested, especially the one place was interested in his holistic approach. They loved that he was an elite athlete who would also be seen on the stage at the school and could contribute to a community like that. So it was the right one. See what I mean? It was the right one. And it didn't start off as the first choice, the place that was much more of a hockey school, but then life changed. And as he went through that, and 4 or 5 months went by, everything changed. And this other door was like, there was a halo hanging over it. And it was a no-brainer, right? So you don't need everybody to say yes, just the right one, okay? Let me go back through this point, these bullet points. Stop assuming that everyone else is taking action. Please stop doing that. Because point number 1, you have no evidence that you're competing with the majority. You're not. 2, take the simplest action step that's immediately available. And I recommend it's researching through that little Google search bar. 3, remember as you begin to email, communicate with the people that could help you, fast, clear, articulate communication is the ultimate weapon to help you get what you want. And 4, the bonus section, you don't need everybody to say yes to help you. You just need the right one for you. That's all. Let me summarize it this way, okay? I get passionate about this. This is a really cool thing to discover this. Please go use this stuff. It's working for my kids. It works for my clients and my business. It works for me. This is just like immutable type of stuff, meaning unbreakable laws. This is just the way the world works. And it's not that complicated. I don't care what your academic level, you can get this, okay? So I'll summarize it by saying many people start with a fabulous goal for themselves. Fabulous, exciting, and it would fit them perfectly. However, they often don't even take the first action step because they incorrectly assume that everybody else is doing the same thing. And how could they ever compete with all those people? The fact is that a very small minority of people ever take action, ever. So the simplest thing to do is to take the smallest, easiest step to open up communication with someone in a power position that can help you succeed or at least move in the direction of success. So when you find them, be as impeccable as possible with your communication. That means fast and articulate. And the bonus section of the bonus section, always remember that you do not need everybody to say yes to help you. You only need the right one for you. All right, remember, you can take immediate action to get moving towards your goals because we take all the notes from each episode and we post them at freethinkingtools.com and we give you instant access, okay? Free Thinking Tools, couple of notes, like from this will be up there only a couple weeks because we're not going to leave a whole list. So then you get overwhelmed and your brain shuts down. We leave a couple of sections of notes for the most recent podcast so you can listen to the most recent episode, sit down and think, okay? Also, don't forget you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And we also post our content on YouTube, so don't forget forget to subscribe to the bonus section channel. We also appreciate it if you would join our mission of becoming people for others and share our content with other people just like you so that they get the help that they need to be successful as well. Remember, I sign off the same way every time on all my podcasts, but especially this one. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody. So go get to work on yourself and a better plan for your goals, and we'll see you in the next episode to help you do just that. Thanks again.